The owners, Pat and I started the company about 14 years ago, and been in this business for quite a long time. I'm currently the VP of Sales and oversee HR and some other functions with Pat on finance.
And I'm Patrick O'Leary, and I'm the president of the company, and pleased to be here.
Thank you. Rosemary Wayne. I am the manager of administration and finance, and I have been here since the beginning.
Okay, so first we wanted to talk about how the business started, when it started, all that stuff. I know you said 14 years ago, so if you want to go into detail about like maybe what sparked the idea of the business, go into that.
Yeah, the other companies weren't paying us enough money.
Okay.
That's always the way the entrepreneur starts.
It does.
And they're still not.
Good point.
Tom Rowe and I have known each other since we were in our 20s.
Okay.
And Tom and I were on the manufacturer side. He worked for Bristol Myers, and I worked for the Gillette Company and Bayer. And we used to compete out in the marketplace. And we got to a point where we said, why don't we stop competing against each other and pick on somebody else? So we decided to pick on Johnson & Johnson. That became our new target, and we went after them instead. And we said one day we'll own a business together. And Rosemary was working for one of the retailers in Western New York. And she was actually doing some of the buying for both of our companies. So we both interacted with Roe. So when we decided to start a company, we all knew each other and said, look, I want to leave my job. How about you? And he said, yeah, I want to leave my job. And we called Roe. She said, yeah, me too. And so we all jumped ship, and that was the beginning of the Greenwood Group.
How has being an entrepreneur affected your family life?
It's, well, I've got a great support group, so it's hard on them. I can tell you my wife's a single mom for a lot of the stuff, a lot of travel, but it's been great. There's a lot of rewards with it too, but it stresses it. It stresses it a little bit, but I've got a great infrastructure, so yeah.
Yeah, the same thing here is that the travel has certainly taken us away from our families from time to time, and that put the kids in a position to rely on themselves a little bit more, and mom, or dad in this case. But I do think it's also been a positive, because our kids have been able to travel to some of the places that we've gone. So there have been the upsides of some of the travel and some of the things that the industry brings to us. We've been able to pass that on.
I've just recently started to travel, so it hasn't really been a strain, but it's like, these are my family too, so they put a lot of stress on me all the time. But I was basically at the home base and everything, and I really didn't have that opportunity to travel a lot because I had smaller kids when we first started and everything. So now that they're grown, I'm able to travel more, and that's okay with me. So
What is the best way to achieve long-term success in your field?
Well, our business is built on getting products out onto the shelves of the various retailers, so you know, the CVS, Walgreens. So we wanna have that distribution, get the product on the shelf, support it with trade spend and promotions, so you see it on sale from time to time. But it's the repeatable, sustainable business. You keep it in, it stays there for 15, 20 years, whatever. That's what really helps us from a commission standpoint, and then selling our services overall on the different departments and divisions of the company, help bring in the additional revenue streams. So, but repeatable, sustainable business that you just, you keep cashing commission checks as you go, and just keep that product on the shelf.
Yeah, and I would add, oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna add that it's the relationships we build with those clients. And I mean, any given day, they can lose their job or whatever. And as they jump from company to company, they remember working with us. And they're a great asset where they'll call us up and say, oh, I landed at this company, can we talk? We can use your business. So, it's just continuous relationship building that can grow the business too.
So describe an outline of your typical day, and I know that you guys travel, so also where was your favorite place to travel?
Now you sound like my grandmother. My grandmother, God rest her soul, she would always say, where are you going this way? Atlanta. Oh, you gotta go see this. You gotta get off the plane. I'm gonna go to a board meeting, whatever. We get back on the plane, come home. I'm not gonna see anything. Well, it's really warm down there. I said, great. I'll appreciate that from the car to the hotel. No. It's just reminding me right there.
Yeah, I think we'd all say the same thing. There is no such thing as a typical day.
Yeah.
You don't know when the day really starts, because we could be on an airplane at 5 o'clock in the morning, or it may be that we've been flat out for 2 weeks and out of the office, and the day isn't gonna start until 10, because we're just gonna stay home, or I'm gonna go over and stop over and have a cup of coffee with my mother and father, which is one of the, that's where you go in the morning? I
Yeah,
didn't
but
tell
then
you.
sometimes they come here and they bring the donuts.
Oh, yeah,
It's
well,
okay.
well, Mom, come here, that's good, that's good.
Part of the
Sauce and those
entrepreneurial,
meatballs.
part of the entrepreneurial benefit. But you really, there isn't a typical day, because we're a client-based company, so we have 18 clients, and on any given day, 3 of them have 3 raging fires. And so we have to figure out how we're gonna put those fires out. But we had a schedule of things we were supposed to do today, and then that gets all kind of bundled up, and that's not gonna happen.
Reprioritized.
So at the end of the day, you look at the list and go, wow, I didn't do any of these things, and I just added 4 more. This is my list for tomorrow. But a typical day is solving problems. And usually for retailers, like Walmart or CVS or Target, and for clients, and those, like the Cetaphil company, or any other number of companies that are out there that we work with. So we're just really always solving problems. So every day is really truly different. What we do is kind of the same, but every day is different.
So where is your favorite place to travel?
Oof. I'll have to think
Not
about
in
that.
America.
Not Bentonville, Arkansas?
No. Oh, I like, no, Bentonville's important for the business,
Yeah,
but
it is.
that's, yeah, favorite place? I don't know, we've had a good time now, well, we have planning sessions, we do 2 planning sessions a year. We're big advocates for Buffalo, so we do one of them here, and we bring everybody in, and well, the FDR, which you guys, I couldn't make that night's dinner, but you went to,
Oh, the
we
Teddy
try to
Roosevelt
showcase
Inaugural
Buffalo
Center.
to all the clients that we represent, so, we do a lot of stuff like that, and then we also do one session usually down in the south and first quarter, so it's warm, so everybody gets out of the north. Most of our clients are east of the Mississippi and tend to be in the northern part of the country, so it's nice for everybody to get out. San Juan, Puerto Rico, the last 2 sales meetings we had there were fun, but South Beach is also fun, and Key West has been fun.
Key West.
Key West has been fun, yeah. Yeah, that's an interesting place if you've never been there.
Yeah.
If you like the people watch, you're in heaven. Good spot. I don't know, you guys? Favorite place?
No, I only get to go to Chicago for Walgreens, so.
Chicago's nice though.
Chicago's great.
It's a nice city.
Right, it's wonderful, but you don't see any of it. You see
Yep.
your hotel
Right,
room and,
right,
you
yeah.
know, but I enjoy
That's
the
true.
little traveling that I do.
Yeah.
I enjoy it.
And the airplanes have fun, I always say.
I
Although I'm
always-
sure if you take millions
Oh.
of I love airplanes, but you guys I'm sure don't as
No.
much anymore.
We could pass.
But the hustle and bustle of the travel I love.
I remember running into you at Charlotte Airport.
Yes.
You were coming back and.
That was
and
the
fl-
worst,
And you were
yeah.
with your girlfriend and you're coming back from visiting a friend or a concert or something. and
Yeah,
You were
right,
stuck
yeah.
there and I'm
Yep.
like, I tried to swap, they wouldn't let me swap spots with her. I said, I'll go on the ladies' plane. You didn't look real happy that day traveling.
Because we were on standby, so
Yeah.
kept, like 4 flights went by and we didn't get a seat, and
Yeah.
I started crying at the very end,
It's
because it was
just
like
a long
midnight, and I was like,
day.
oh my
Oh.
god. Yeah, it was awful. That
Brutal.
was the worst. I'm never
Brutal.
gonna fly on standby again.
Yeah.
So,
I'm lucky, I get to fly overseas. I get to do some things for the company to try and find overseas clients and bring them into the United States. So I get to go out of the country a couple of times a year, so Italy's my favorite. I would move there in a minute.
And he just went to the favorite place that I want to go is Greece, and
What is your greatest fear in business?
Well, mine is simple, it's
failure.
if failure, yeah, if we lose one of our big clients. I have a big fear that if we ever lost a big client, we have never, ever, ever had to let anybody go or downsize because you know, we lost a significant piece of revenue. And we're very proud of that, and we want that to continue forever. So my biggest fear is that we would lose a sizable client, and that would force us to have to, you know, make some adjustments to our folks, and I don't ever want to do that.
Yeah, I think it's the same. It's just, it's losing a big business and doing it on a fault of our own, whatever that might be, whether it's performance.
Right.
Or because we didn't manage something properly, or because we lost our cool, or, you know, whatever that is. Some things are inevitable, you can't, in a client services businesses, clients do come and go. We've had many clients. Most that are no longer here went because they were bought out, or we achieved the goal that they asked us to achieve and they moved on to the next phase. I think we've had 2 bad exits. One was just a bad guy that we wound up suing. And the other one we didn't do, a very good job on, frankly. I mean, and not that we didn't try hard, we just didn't achieve the result. And so the client left pretty unhappy. But we know that when we put our head on the pillow at night, we really tried hard on that business. But the fear of losing a big client's important. The fear of doing that as a fault of our own, because we didn't manage our company right or manage our resources right. Something I want to make sure we prevent.
Kind of a follow-up question to that, so how do you create such strong bonds with your clients? Like, what sets you apart from other businesses? And why do people go to you? Why do people call you for,
Well,
you know, help?
it's cliche, but it's like we go that extra mile, you know, we pay attention to detail, we get very close to them. So, you know, from a strategical standpoint, we're tied at the hip, we know exactly what we need to do, and then we go out and execute it. And we just make sure we don't fail. We just make sure we deliver what's expected, when it's expected. And, I mean, it's very broad in a sense, but that's it. I mean,
Yeah, this is I think all businesses are people businesses, or most of it. And the importance of being there is really important for us, because it's about building the relationships for the tough times, because the tough times will come. And whether your relationship can weather those difficult times, it will tell you whether you've built a good company or not. So we make it a point to get into all of our clients' buildings. We don't have them come to us, or we don't just always talk to them on the phone or email. We physically get on a plane, leave our families, go visit, spend 2 or 3 days, go out to dinner. Some we've gone and played, what's it called, volleyball or something, or Worthburg, I don't know what it was.
Yeah,
But
it's like bumper cars with tennis rackets, and you had to whip a ball into this, yeah.
I mean, we do goofy
It
fun
was
things.
fun running into everybody, it was, yeah.
We've been golfing, we've been fishing, we caught an 8-foot, 240-pound bull shark with the client. I mean, so we do the fun things and the entertainment things, but then when it comes down to business, we can sit around a table and we know more about their business sometimes than they do. And then, so they learn to trust us. And if we've done a good job with that client, we haven't done that with all of them, but with all of our big ones, we probably have, and with many of our small, we have. But they really trust us, but it's because we're there. And when they call, we pick up the phone, and because when it's important, we get on a plane and we go there. But there's a cost to that, and there's a cost that we're not in the office, or we're not with our families, but fortunately, for the most part, I think our families understand that that's the business we're in, and it helps put food on the table. So that's why we go.
How did you come up with the name Greenwood Group?
It's a fun one.
Have at it.
So Tom and I decided we were gonna leave our jobs. We resigned, and on the first day, we went and we had meetings with 2 potential clients. One was in New Jersey, and one was in Boston, and we didn't have any money, so we decided we'd drive. Ro was gonna keep an eye on the office, so she was an office of 1. And we drove to New Jersey, met with that guy. We never landed that business. We had a good meeting, but we never landed that business. And then we went to the next building up in Boston, and that's this Theratears lineup. And the founder, God rest his soul, he died at 54 years old, another entrepreneur who went before his time, flipped over the handlebars on his bicycle and snapped his neck and wound up in a coma and then dead. But at the time, we drove up, we met with Jeff Gilbart, Dr. Jeff Gilbart, and he said, boys, I do everything like family, we're gonna go do this in the kitchen. So we went into the kitchen in the office, we presented our company, and he was this really high-minded, mad scientist kind of doctor who invented this eye drop formula. And he said, so, boys, I'm gonna hire you, and we're gonna shake hands. We shook hands across the table. We never had a contract with him. He said, you know, my word is my bond, and we decided to trust him because we needed the money.
Yeah.
So we took the non-contract business. We're still working on it today, even though Jeff's gone. But he said, now I have to ask you a question. Where'd you get the name Greenwood? And Tom says, well, why do you ask? I was ready to give the answer, and Tom goes, well, why do you ask? And he said, well, I just think it's brilliant. Greenwood. It's like, Greenwood is the freshest wood on the tree. The green wood is the freshest wood on the tree. It signifies growth. It signifies strength. I mean, when I hear Greenwood, I think of a big, tall redwood in California. I just think it's brilliant. And of course, green's the color of money, Pat. So,
What was he off?
So I just think it's brilliant. How did you come up with it? And he says, well, that's the name of the street that Pat grew up on. So the name of the company came from, it was Greenwood Place that I grew up on. And we just happened to have to pick a name one day and
But the lawyers were, so we had all the business plans, we were ready to go, we were getting, we're forming the LLC, and the lawyer said, well, what's the company name? We go, oh.
And we didn't wanna call it the Hudson.
We didn't really think
O'Leary.
about that.
We didn't want our names on it.
We
Really?
spent all the time putting, the plans and everything, and then he said, well, what street did he said, Pat, what street you go? Greenwood. He goes, how about the Greenwood Group? Yeah, that works. That was it. It's not some tree, it's not some.
You
That's
can
it,
tell people.
done.
Yeah, but now when people ask the question, where did the name come from? We said, well, Greenwood is the freshest wood on the tree. And we go through the spiel, and then, depending on the relationship, we'll say, that is the name of the street. We can go like that.
How long did it take for the company to really get on its feet and start moving?
Different strides, I mean, in the beginning, we started with Therateers and very bare bones, and we had another client, and, then we went through probably 4 or 5 years of picking up more clients. Some had financial stability, some didn't, some were, had some items in the marketplace, some didn't. But the more we succeeded, the more attraction, we were more attractive to, we attracted more, stronger brands, more financially stable companies with more staying power. But I honestly believe we've just hit our real stride in the last 2 years when we, 2-3 years, when we landed Fisherman's Friend to be the US distributor for 5 years, and that put us in the warehousing business, which opened us up to some other things, so. And then, we just nailed the Gildorma contract for Cetaphil 2 years ago, and that was a big contract. And they're very happy, and they've already given us, told us we're on board again for next year, so we'll have 3 years with them. So all along the way, I think we've always improved, we've always added better clients than we lost or parted ways with or whatever. But I think it's been probably within the last 3 years.
I agree with that.
But we're still small.
Yeah.
We're still at the risk of 1 or 2 clients going away and looking at each other going, all right, how are we gonna do this? Because we have all of these people now and all of these salaries, and what do we do? So we always try and we talk about keeping the glass just a little overfilled. So it puts a little more stress on the organization because we're always working a little harder than maybe we all want to. But it's that's those extra clients that are spilling over the top of the glass. But when 2 or 3 go away, we know we don't have to worry about cutting back and laying people off. We know we've got the revenue to be able to handle it. But we gotta face it, we may cover the whole United States, and we may source businesses from all over the world, and we may work with a client called Nestle, a nice big company, but we're still this small company that's 14 years old in Buffalo, New York, and a bunch of knuckleheads trying to figure out how to make a living and build a company.
And finally, what is your biggest selling product?
Well, we better be really careful with that whenever any of our clients gonna see this.
They're all good.
They're all nice.
We love them.
Individual brand, I mean, collectively, like a client we represent collectively, it would be Acorn, collectively. The Medi, or the OTC brands, the Therateers collectively is 60-some million. Cetaphil, individual brand, is about 30 million, so.
But the brand.
But the Therateers is right there too, so.
But the Cetaphil business is a $300 million business
Yeah.
nationally.
Yeah.
So that would be by far our biggest brand, and probably the most recognizable one to you. Most of the rest of the stuff we have is for really old people. Their eyes are drying out, their skin is drying out, their hair is drying out, their feet hurt. So most of the stuff is for older people, but the Cetaphil will probably be your most recognizable, and it's the biggest brand we represent. We don't cover all of their business, but we cover a nice chunk of it. Yeah.
We're good? Well, thank you very much
Thank
for
you.
interviewing.
Thank you.
If you get an A, the teacher can have free samples.
We'll let them know.
Hey, go Bengals, I'm an alum. Go Bengals.